Hi, hello, this is Andy, aka Andreas. I'm playing Banished. I nearly forgot the name of the game then. It's a brand new game for me, but I've been playing these types of games for a long time. As you can see, I've only just started this new map, and I'll just take you through the actual options I've got on here. For a start, I'm not using any mods. The reason for making this video, apart from there's one mod I'm using, which is the flatten terrain tool. Sorry, that's the only one, but I'll try not to use it. It's only to get me out of tight spots. Flatten terrain tool is on, enabled, and so you can see all the other mods are turned off. Okay, and I'll say OK to that, so you can see that if I had previously turned them on. The only reason is that I'm making this video because some of my friends have been playing this and they said it's too hard and they can't play it on hard mode. Let's have a look at my map. I'm on Strinita, STRINITA, and the map seed is 689122696. Terrain type is valleys, terrain size is large, climate is fair, disasters are on, and the starting conditions are hard. Okay, so the only other thing I was just going to add was that the reason why I'm not using any of the mods is because obviously if you use any of the mods, they will make your game slightly different and easier, I suppose. Some of the mods that I have in this game, which I enjoy using, they're not cheats, because sometimes the way this game works, by the way, my settings, status icon opacity is 24, status icon scale is 140. These are the icons that are above the heads of the people and above the buildings, and then the user interface scale, that's the size of the windows that I'm using, you'll see, is 90, just in case you wanted my settings. I'm playing this on Windows XP machine. I've turned my music off, and I've got a NVIDIA GeForce GT 610 card at 60 Hz. Okay, so it runs okay. First thing to do is to make sure you set up your tools and reports, and I click these first three windows open. I like to have that one somewhere in the middle floating, the event log down at the bottom, and the main window of your what stock you've got in your storehouse. So we're going to quickly play through this game, and I'm not going to stop and explain too much, only that I was just going to show the options, the mods again. And I'm saying they're not really cheats. Even the flatten terrain tool isn't really a cheat. Only the fact that in this flatten terrain tool, of course, you don't have you guys go over there and physically dig at the hole with a pickaxe or spades. But these people are banished. They're not stupid, as someone else pointed out in one of their videos. They can dig and they can build mines and they can build houses. So surely they can take a piece of land and flatten it, you know, lower a bit of a mountainside, dig out the rock and dig out the ore and dig out the soil and leave it flat and then build on it. But some of the mods I like are the ones like where in the default game you can't use the mine area after it's depleted. It just leaves a horrible looking hole in the ground. But you know, in real life, if you had the technologies to make a mine, of course you could cover that hole up and build on it. So I've got things like season effects, which give you a nicer looking graphics. I have buildings that I'm not going to use in this game. The sawmill, which replaces the woodcutter, but you have to use the woodcutter in the first time anyway. Another mod that I like is this log cabins, and it makes one house which only one family can stay in. So that allows you to, if you know how many families you've got, just to select out how many people you want by the number of houses. Of course, families have babies, but if they haven't got a new house to move to once they've grown up and left school, if you don't give them new houses, they won't move out and then produce more babies. So it's all basically about getting a balance between the game. So anyway, I won't bang on about these, but I've got mods like the fishing dock mod, which gives you 25% better fishing, but I'm not using it. So better schools where you can have 2 teachers in the school, which makes sense to me. Better schools. See, the thing is, why would you just have 1 teacher in the school? Shall we? I won't have that on now. We're just going to play with the vanilla game, as it were. Toolmakers specialised stockpiles, where you can actually designate what the stockpile is going to be. Smaller vendor buildings, because the marketplace is really too big. Sometimes you just need an outpost and stuff like that, but I'm not going to use any of those. More wood per tree, more iron per, or my iron ore per lump. Increased resources, extra leather, but they're not really extra leather. Who's to say what a farm produces? Anyway, we'll just resume this game. Now, the first thing you want to do when you start this game is to make sure that you quickly place a stockpile near to the cabin, or between your cart. Which this is one annoying thing in this game. These carts don't ever move, and there is a mod that gives you extra carts because we're in the hard mode. Whenever you see this cart, you know they're in the hard mode. Because in the lower modes they always give you other things. I've never played it in any of the other modes. I've only ever played it in hard mode. And yeah, I did die the first few times I played it until I understood the tutorial and got my head round the way that the you could say weights and measures work and the amount of stuff things produce. So let's get into it. First off, you need to place a stockpile. So we're going to put stockpile down, and we'll put that reasonably close to the current place. You only need it to be about 4x4 or maybe 5x5. Certainly don't make them any bigger than 5x5. In fact, make lots of them which are just only 3x3. Only because of the room that you're going to be taking up. I might want to put a building in there, then find later on that I want to move this stockpile. Another thing about moving stockpiles is, the bigger it is, the longer it's going to take for it to be deconstructed. And if you want to move resources around, if you wanted all these stones later on and you didn't use all of the stone and all of the iron, and you wanted it over here somewhere, then what would happen is, if you deconstruct a pile, they carry it over and put it on the other pile. So that's one way to move. It's a little tip for you, one way to move resources about. But the bigger the pile, the longer it takes. So the smaller the pile, the better. Now I'm looking at this, and you've got to make some judgments. I'm saying there's quite a lot of rock and iron ore and only a few trees, but I'm going to need loads of trees, so I'm going to try and get them gathering straight away as soon as I get them moving. So we'll go straight into the gathering tool, and to just begin with, I'm going to gather all of that little area of resource there, and then while they're doing that I'll set them going on, say, like 5 times faster. Now the next thing to do is to straight on put your gatherer's lodge in. Right, now we're going to choose an area to gather from that has got some trees in it. And we'll go, I'll just slow them down a little bit, and we'll go gatherer's lodge. The reason why I want to slow them down at this point is only that we want to get the gatherer's lodge built as soon as possible, because it's food in this game that will kill you, not the cold, especially in the first winter. Get the gatherer's lodge going, the gatherer's hut, and when you place anything, look at the perimeter. Don't overlap it over mountains like this, because all of that mountainous area at between the like the 8 and the 5 o'clock position there is not going to be used. So make sure you cover all of that area there, which has got grassland underneath it. I could lower this corner, the 6 o'clock position, and over at the 3 o'clock position with my flattened terrain tool, and I might do that just later. for now, I'll keep that building like that, and we'll just go straight in there with the gatherers huts. So if it'll work, it won't go in. I've got to find a better place for it. Let's see. Yeah, it'll just go in there like that. It's closest to them as well anyway, so I will put it there. And the thing about what we're going to do with this area is we're going to remove all of the rock and all of the iron, and we're not going to chop down the trees if we can help it. We're going to put a forester's unit in there, and they will, once all the rocks and all the iron's gone, which we need anyway, to use in our buildings, it'll start to plant new trees, and this will just become a big fat thicket of trees. And the darker green trees, the mature trees, are where all the herbs and the other resources grow for, like things like the gatherers hut. So it looks like they're taking some of that time to build that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change, because I've got 8 people to work with, I'm going to put 4 of them as builders and leave 4 on labourers. So at the moment, because they're all labourers, as soon as we've got enough on our stockpile, what do we need for the gatherers hut? Let me find it again. There it is. What we need for the gatherers hut is 30 logs and 12 stone. Well, we've already got 38 stone. So this is the point where you start to use your command tool, which is the increased priority, right? So to begin with, let's get some of the trees just from harvest the trees as from this close area here, and as you can see, we could also put maybe a hunter's unit out, because the hunting ground, even around here, they'll still pick up. There is a few faults in the game as I see it. I mean, I've talked to people and they've disagreed with me, but I beg to differ, because if I can show you later on in another game, I've got 3 hunting lodges. One's in a plain grassed area with no trees because I stripped it all, and I've got 1 worker on it. I've got another lodge further over which has 2 workers in it, and another one in a blank city area as well, with there's lots of town buildings, and there's deer all over the place, and another one which is in a thicket of trees where there's a gatherer's lodge. Oh, I've put 2 down. Never mind. And the point is that I will see which one's on first. 30. That hasn't done anything yet. In fact, they have actually stripped off the trees, so it doesn't matter. I can actually destroy that building, and I could destroy that one. Just all I've done at the moment is remove. I didn't realise I'd actually managed to place that one. That's in a better position. So what I'll do is I'll remove that building. So remove that building there. That's gone. Now, I haven't actually used any stone on it, so at these points, if you do make any silly little mistakes like that, you can actually stop them from doing stuff. So at the moment they're taking stuff all the way over there and bringing it all the way back here whenever they cut trees down. So the other tip, and because I'm talking to you, I'm not really concentrating on what I'm doing properly, is to put another little stockpile down there, a 3x3. And now anything they take down from round there, they will put in there. Now the first thing we need to do anyway is to take some of the stone. I don't really want them putting stone on there because I'm going to take that stockpile out later. They're free, so it doesn't really matter. And there's my resources going in. We're at spring, and I suggest that you use this on speed of 1 whilst you're doing this, but once you get into it, if I wasn't talking to you, I'd be running this at about, at least at number 2 or speed 5. 2 is my like default speed. If I now collect this stone, they might take it to that place there, so I will be looking to get the this shoreline used for fishing. Now if you can put a fishing dock out and you use it on this little point here or on this point, it gives you more radius of water. But if you put it in an arc like that, you'll get less radius of water, so you'll get less fish from it. That's basically the idea. So one of the things what we're going to do now is just collect. Collect. I do want all of this wood, but I'm only going to get it in little bits. Like that. And then I'm going to get some, I've got 54 iron just by default, and I've got quite a bit of stone as well. So I'll get some stone, in case anybody's not doing anything and I'm not aware of it. If they become labourers, they can go and get the stone, you see. So that's the stockpile, which has got nothing on it. And I've paused that for some reason, like an idiot. That's because I'm talking to you, see. Right, what I want to do is just to prioritise that, because now I've got enough of everything to build it, regardless of the fact that they're coming all the way from over there to bring the stuff. So I don't know, I might as well remove that bit of stone. Mind you, I'm going to build some more buildings in a bit. So let's see if we also take out some stone. Keep going to the wrong one. From that area. I'll put 6 builders on. Now what it means is the builders will labour and they will also build, but the labourers will only labour. So once this building here, this is the thing you have to get your head round, it's clearing the forest of all the resources for the footprint of the building. We are gathering the materials and putting them on the site of 30 logs and 12 stone. Once that process is done, the builders will begin to work, and it will change over to this build of 045 once the all the materials have arrived. And this will mean that the 2 labourers will still do whatever else I've got, like they'll go and collect trees and stuff like that. So just like I say, I prioritise that build there because I need to get the gatherers hut running ASAP. And another thing we could do, I did see we need to maximise the forest area, and we're not going to try and put any buildings in this area other than the ones we need, like reforester. But for now, the more rock I can remove from here, the better, I suppose. There's more room for the other things like the berries and things like that that get collected to grow. I've had better areas than this as well in the past. Now we saw some deer in here as well. But we've got to think that we're in late spring and we're soon going to have winter coming on, and we need time to build those houses. So what I'm going to do is, those are the stone houses that you could build, but they're warmer, but they use 16 and 8, whereas these use 40 stone. Now I could build one stone house and do stay slightly warmer in the stone houses than they do in the wooden houses. Those cabins I showed you earlier on, that icon comes up in the middle of these two, and what that does is the cabins are less cost than the wooden house, and they're warmer, but they only have one family in them at a time, whereas these wooden houses can take lots of families, can't they? So I'm going to put these as close as I can to my main stockpile, because I'm going to say that this is going to be the centre area. And I know I should be thinking, well, let's say perhaps we've got a mountainous area where we can put a mine in, and maybe we could use some of this land here for the fields later on. But all I'm trying to do is just to get you started past the first or the second winter, so I'm just going to show you putting this type of thing in. We're putting 2 houses, and there is an argument against putting them close together, because if one house burns down, the other one does as well. But again, another fault I've seen to have noticed in the game is that I had 2 houses across the street with a gap of 2 between them, and another house down the road further along here, and they all burnt down. When you consider the fact that the thatched roofs, any spark from a chimney could light the building. And once one building's on fire, all the sparks from those roofs will ignite all the other buildings. So, you know, it's a waste of time to try and not maximise on the space, but I don't like to cram all the buildings in really tight, and I don't like them all in really clean straight lines, but there is an argument for doing that. Let's straighten that building up. Again, as you can see, slight mistake there, so what we'll do is we'll pause that building as well, because we don't want anything to happen yet there until we've got the gatherer's hut built. Oh, now we've got the gatherer's hut built, we can, as you see, this is the point. As soon as it says 1 of 45, now the builders are taking over, and I've got 3 labourers and 6 builders. So let me put another builder on. So I've got 7 builders building that. It'll be done in no time now. And I've got 1 house here. Okay. So I'm going to put another house on. I think. Can't see where that building was. It was one square over. Yeah, so I'll put it there. That should put it in a long straight line, but you know. And we're going to pause the first house so that they don't get working on one. They complete one at a time, you see. You can actually survive with just 1 house through the first winter as well. The most important thing to do next is to get a storage barn on somewhere between your wooden house, your wooden gatherer's hut, and your 2 houses, right? And with the added provision of not, there's the house there. You see the 2 buildings have not been inside this line. So I'm going to use those trees as an example. I haven't bothered removing those trees because they'll get removed when I put the barn in. So, storage barn, and if you line them up, changing it round with R and T, so that, imagine that you could have them walking down in a straight line, and then down the street down to here. They will actually not follow the roads directly, and also don't build any roads in the first bit of the game. So I'm looking at a diagonal really from here. Diagonal from there to that other building. So we don't want this building inside this yellow line, because then it means that forestry can't grow in there and the gatherers can't gather from that area. So we're going to put it just here. So now then the gatherers will bring the stuff to this building and the villagers will get it from here. So once you work out these, strategies and get them sorted in your head, then another thing I like to do is to put another stockpile once I know where my house is going to be, my barn. You can see the shape of the barn there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 2x7 stockpile right next to it. Okay. And then later on, if I want to remove that, there's 2x7. These 2x7 stockpiles all over the place help. If you have one massive stockpile, you've got to carry all of your stone and all of your stuff a lot further, So right, we'll turn this other house on now. Right, the next job after you've got these 2 houses is to have a woodcutter, and again the woodcutter needs to be near the main stockpile, and we'll put the woodcutter, we'll turn this wood around. in there, right next to these two houses. It doesn't really matter in the first year because we've got 75 wood, and just if you only have 2 houses up to past your first year, when you're first wintering, the potatoes they've got and the wood, the firewood, will just last them just long enough. Right, so straight into there now. We need 2 or 3, no 4 actually. 4 gatherers. So that's the maximum gatherers you can have. There's the gatherers. Yep. And we can keep that open on that window like that, and we can see what they're gathering. What I will do is I will there's not much distance between the barn actually and the storage cart, but you know, we still would like to get the barn finished as well. So let's just speed the time up and we'll get the house built under priority. So now I've got only 5 workers. My stats are I've got 9 adults, no students and 6 children. We don't want to get any more children because if we have any more births, we'll run out of food. So you control the birth rate by not building houses, basically. So once this house is built, I'm going to pause the woodcutter's place. So we're not having the woodcutter just yet. So there's another wooden house, and we can see that we've got another 8 people without homes. Don't worry about it. And now we're going to put priority on the barn. And actually a priority, we needed a priority also on the stockpile. So if you put a stockpile next to a barn, we could just actually put the priority to begin with on the stockpile. And now we've got the stockpile, and we'll put the priority then on the barn. You need the stockpile first, of course. They still need to go and clear the land for it and thing in there. But they are actually bringing resources from over here. The storage barn is 16 stone, I've got 108, and 28, I've got 52 wood. Sometimes when I'm playing this game I actually can't see what they're doing because I'm working in all these screens. Okay? And now that's done, we'll come on to this woodcutter's place and we'll switch that on. So what's happening here is the 5 builders are working on the barn, but the one who has got no more resources to bring because we've gone past the build point, he'll be working on this building, on the woodcutters. So he's taking down the trees and moving the resources onto the nearest stockpile. Okay. Now the other thing we'll want to do is to put 2 more houses in, and I'm going to put them just on the inside of this circle here. So we look like we're going to be building a street over there. I'm going to slow the game down again because I can't think at the speed that I'm talking. Right, what was I saying? I was going to do another couple of houses, and it's because we want to get those people indoors before the winter. Okay. So I'll have a street down the middle here. And then what I'll do is I'll turn these houses round and I'll have these houses this way. So I've got a street in front of the barn and I'll make it 1, 2 wide. And then I'll go over to the edge of that circle. So we're actually putting it just not inside the thing itself, you see. So the best way to look at it is at the 6 o'clock position, the south end of that building, that place, we'll move along until it turns green, and then we can place place another house. And now we're going to put priority. Oh, the woodcutters are working fine. The builders have got nothing else to do apart from build this building, so you don't need priority on now because there's nothing else being done. But if you want to prioritise these buildings, there's another way of prioritising these buildings, is to pause that one. So the site won't... One, two. I have to move it sometimes because if it's too close to these other things, they will not pause. So by pausing this one, we're forcing the labourer to only work on that one. Right, now we've got a builder. We'll take one of the builders off. We've got a forester, not forester, a woodcutter, sorry. So we're going to put the woodcutter on. There is a woodcutter's mod that I had, but it stopped working when the game was updated, so I dropped it, I left it. Okay. I might make you a video show you about the I'm going to show you now to install the mods, but I have a quite a good way of downloading them and you know, installing them and that, so I can keep a copy separate of the game one that's in the game, so if it works, don't just delete. If it don't work, don't delete it, because it might start working again, or you might be able to alter it. I forgot to mention that if you, whilst you've got your building on, you're building a house, if you press the F key, of course, if you press the F key, it changes the style of the building, you know, but we're not having a house. After the woodcutter, gatherer's hut, the gatherers are working fine. Wooden house, more wooden houses. The woodcutter's working away. I want to change his limit up to 400 straight away, by the way. And in the gatherers, let's take their limit up. 6,000. Okay, so this is season 1. Storage barn's got nothing in it just yet. Am I running slow yet? Okay. Okay, wooden house. We won't bother about that. But there you can see that they pinch quite a lot of resources, firewood and all that business. So now most of the firewood has gone out of the storage cart. Now the barn's being built, what we do is we empty the storage cart so it's in the way now by using remove, and just be careful just to highlight that one thing itself. And what they'll do is they'll take the resources from this storage cart and move them onto the stockpile or into the barn. It's things that can only be stored in the barn. Next thing we want on is a toolmaker, right? So now because the toolmaker sort of like stores the stuff in, I think, in the barn, in the storage barn, we'll put the toolmaker one side of this, one street, like, no, 2 streets, just out of whack a little bit, doesn't matter. 2 streets opposite this place here. So this is this house being built, and now we're in the actual building mode. We'll now unpause. Oh, it was unpaused anyway. It's paused. Normally I would. I have paused it. Where is it? That's that house being built, right? Okay. And have I hidden that one? Yeah, it's there. Look. Let's unpause that one as well. It's 16 and 8, so we've only got 7 logs. So now we need to get some more logging done. That's ASAP. So we'll have all of those trees out of there, and we'll have those trees from down there as well. And then I'll put a priority on those trees just round the back. I like to see the trees actually. I mean, in some cases I leave them trees round there like that, but you know, it just depends on how you want to play the game. So the priority's on the trees. We don't need anybody to man that building there. He's out of wood because that's not good, is it? I didn't keep an eye on we've got 92 firewood on the stockpile, so we should be okay. And these two houses have not been quite built yet. So there's one there and one there. One of the things to do if you want the house to go quicker is to pause. I've put a stone house on there for some reason. I've not used any resources yet. The wooden house really. So it's paused. So what I'll do is, again I've made a mistake, so don't worry about your mistakes. We'll just go and take that out of there. Any resources they have put there incidentally, they will remove. So I wanted to put a wooden house. Let's do that. Actually, I like the first one. So, that one. And then we'll turn it round and have it street side as that one. And actually, I like it there because there's like a little gap between the two. It's alright. I think I've got it further back than I had with the one up line. Yeah, again, mistake. I'll get this right in a minute, don't worry. Building a house, concentrate. There it is. Right, so we've now only got 4 people left, and then that's our citizens done. Don't build any more houses past that. We'll just have a look through the houses. You can see that we've got 192 roots, and gather us up, 394 mushrooms, berries, 356, onions, 154. In the storage barn, everything's working there. So as these houses build, they will start to go in and steal all the resources, of course. The wood chappy there is still not got enough wood to play with, which is a mistake I don't usually make. And the thing to do is to hold on. Look, they've got a family in that house, but a family in the first house, a single family. In the second house, we've got, it looks like that could be a husband and wife. That's the female sign, that's the male sign, if you think of erect penis. So I remember it, it's pointing up. So the other one's the woman, dangly bits. Anyway, I won't go into that, sorry about that. Do you know there's preschoolers watching this? It shouldn't be. Anyway, and these look like they're kids, but there's another builder in, 12-year-old builder. So the thing about when you get people straight out, they're already educated as kids, but they don't, when you actually play the game, they don't become educated until you've educated them. We'll take a look at the barrels. It's only got another 5% storage. I'll leave that open and you'll see it disappear. So the inventory in the houses, you can see that they've got potatoes and firewood, all one of the first houses to be built, and they've got more stuff. So it's all out of balance. Now I reckon the best mod that could ever be built for this game would be one that allows you to control how many. Oh, that's why I'd forgotten to pause the blacksmith. It doesn't matter, they're going to get built at the same time. This first winter doesn't also matter. Again, what I'll do is I will say that we've already got 32 iron, we've already got 55 stone, and we've only got another 3 logs to put on that site, and then they can start building. So the one labourer I will take down to 3 builders and 2 labourers, that means the other 2 labourers will go and work on this wooden house. Okay. Keep your eye over the gatherers. There's 4 gatherers and 1 woodcutter. At this point, I would say when you get to like early winter and everything's okay, it's the time to make a save. And also, if you just look at your clock time, for me it is 10 to 1 in the afternoon, which is unusual because it's a Tuesday afternoon for most people to be thinking about the fact that I'm sat playing a game as an adult. I'm 51 on a Tuesday afternoon when most people my age are at work slaving away. Well, the way I can afford to do that, if you look in the video description, I've probably left a link in there to one of my websites like websitesmakemoney.com or bloggingforprofit.co.uk. There's hyphens between those words, that's websites-make-money.com and or blogging-for-profit.co.uk. And I have lots of sites, lots of game sites as well, and I make money online, and I can show you how to do the same. And I treat it like playing a game. So now you can see this this house is being built, and these other 2 labourers are working on this. So you'll see both of these buildings here, they are both being worked on. That's because I've got 2 labourers working on this. The labourers will not work on the blacksmiths anymore because they've already got all the resources in place. So, okay, so now we need just to be aware that the blacksmiths are going to be needed. So those labourers will become blacksmiths. Where's the blacksmith? Is it? Or 1 blacksmith anyway. As soon as it's ready. And we need iron, which we've got, and we need wood, which we've got. And now the next building to be thinking about is a school, so that we don't have any ignorant people. The thing is, if they're not skilled, if they haven't got any education, they work slow. So 1 blacksmith coming up, right? So we've got the blacksmith on there, and we'll keep an eye on what he's diddling, okay? Just like the gatherers. So I'll put him up there, and I'll put that up there. The stockpile also I'll keep up there. So I've got the stockpile and the storage barn, and the 2 that are supplying it are there. Okay. Now there's no point in doing anything else, building any more houses, because you'll end up with too many people. The thing about, did I say, educated people, they work faster than the uneducated people. So we need a schoolhouse, and the first thing we do is build the schoolhouse as close as I can to the, obviously, the storage point here. Now the schoolhouse wants to be that way around, I think, because my village was going that way. And looking at the back of the house, I've left only 1 street space, I think. So I'll do that, and then I will put early autumn, 1 child named Belouin was born. Yeah. So these houses won't have many more children to be born, and we'll put priority on this building. Incidentally, I have my autosave saving every 15 minutes, so the schoolhouse is being built, and then we'll need a teacher. It says the reserve of iron is low. Don't worry about it. The iron needed is 16, and I've only got 2. So what we'll do is we'll go and grab some iron. We're at the point now where we're only taking the stuff we need. And once you've selected all of that iron there, for instance, we would go into just increase priority, but we'd only maybe just take that bit, because once they've taken that little bit, we might have enough for the building. Oh, we've got 16 there, we've got it all, it's done. So 16 stone. Now we need logs. So let's see which is the closest logs. Maybe these. Let's take those trees, and we will have to get plenty of trees anyway. So we'll have the priority on those trees now. So even though those irons there are still selected, you can see if you go down right close in, you'll see that there's a little pickaxe and an axe forming a cross. Looks a little bit like a swastika. I would have avoided making that graphic. Anyway, we could have had the handles cross nearer the hills, like it was hanging on a plaque on a wall. So he hasn't got any wood to work with, but it's okay because we've got 78 wood in the stockpile. So we just leave him working. Also, when he's not working, he's got nothing to do, he becomes a labourer. Okay. So we'll leave him running now, and we'll see that he has actually built 208 in firewood in the last season. I did put him up to 400, yeah. So now, that's how we've survived the first season. Okay. At this point, you might want to just do a little quick save as well, just so if you note the time. I'm coming up to 4 minutes to 1. So I note the time because it'll tell you there at 10 to 1 when I mentioned before. I put that save in there and it's Trinita look. So I will put another second save next to it, and there will be 3 saves in total if I control them, because it'll be the auto save. The auto save seems to auto save over the top of the previous auto save, so it's good to make a couple of saves around those. It's just auto save is just in case you forget, and often when things go wrong and if people start to die, you can go back and find your auto save. Then that's what happens. So we're in early spring of year 2, so I'm going to leave that video there and we'll come back in the next video. So go and have a watch. I'll pause the game as well, down to speed 1, then we'll pause it. So this has been Andreas. I hope you've enjoyed this Banished in hard mode, showing you that you can survive without dying through the first year. If you get to this point, you can basically go off on your own now and do other things, but I'm going to show you maybe the second year as well, so it proves you, because you can still get this very, very wrong, as lots of people discover. So I'll break that video there. Catch the next one. Look in the description, and don't forget to follow me on Website Money and Blogging for Profit, and also there's a Twitter, maybe a Twitter link in there as well.